The simulation hypothesis, a modern philosophical conundrum, suggests that reality as we know it could be a simulated or virtual reality created by a more technologically advanced civilization. This hypothesis has been a subject of much debate and speculation among philosophers, scientists, and thinkers alike, especially since it was popularized by the technologist Elon Musk and the philosopher Nick Bostrom. However, the roots of this question can be traced back to some of the earliest philosophical inquiries. While the simulation hypothesis is often considered a product of the digital age, the core concept, that the reality we perceive may not be the ultimate reality, is an idea that has fascinated philosophers for millennia. Plato's Allegory of the Cave, for instance, depicts humans as prisoners in a cave, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. This ancient thought experiment raises questions about perception, reality, and illusion that are all strikingly relevant to the simulation hypothesis. Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy is another philosophical work with parallels to the simulation hypothesis. Descartes posits the existence of an evil demon who could be deceiving us about the nature of reality, a precursor to the idea of a future civilization simulating our reality. In modern times, the philosopher Nick Bostrom formalized the simulation hypothesis into a trilemma known as the simulation argument. Bostrom argues that one of the following must be true. Number 1. Humans go extinct before reaching a post-human stage where we could run many detailed simulations of our forebears. Number 2. Post-human civilizations are extremely unlikely to run a significant number of such simulations. And number 3. We are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. Each of these possibilities raises profound philosophical questions about our existence and the nature of reality. Philosophers have raised numerous objections to the simulation hypothesis. Some, like David Chalmers, suggest that while we might be living in a simulation, this doesn't change the fact that we still experience and interact with the world in meaningful ways. From a pragmatic perspective, whether our reality is simulated or not might be irrelevant to our day-to-day lives. Others, like philosopher Thomas Metzinger, point out that the simulation hypothesis might be a contemporary version of an old philosophical problem, solipsism, the idea that only one's own mind is sure to exist. The simulation hypothesis, like solipsism, is virtually unfalsifiable, as any evidence could be dismissed as part of the simulation. The simulation hypothesis, whether true or not, forces us to grapple with fundamental philosophical questions. How do we define reality? If we are living in a simulation, does that diminish the value or meaning of our experiences? How does this possibility reshape our understanding of consciousness and existence? In many ways, the simulation hypothesis echoes the existential concerns of philosophers like Albert Camus and Jean-Paul Sartre, who grappled with the absurdity and meaninglessness of life. If we are living in a simulation, we might find ourselves confronting a new kind of existential absurdity. Moreover, the simulation hypothesis also intersects with philosophical discussions about technology and ethics. If we are living in a simulation, what responsibilities do we have towards the beings we might one day simulate? This question echoes debates in philosophy about our ethical obligations towards future generations and non-human beings. While the simulation hypothesis is a product of our technological age, it's deeply rooted in age-old philosophical inquiries about reality, perception, and the nature of existence.